the S is now the first team to be fully wiped out of Teapot, I thought, why not go over its run through in Teapot and see how well it did? See what happened to each contestant and why they got out. So, in the first episode, the S forms. Clock joins Winner as the first duo of the team. Okay? Winner used to be friends with Loser and used to do all this stuff with Loser. Mostly, this, I'd say, is more just a Winner story instead of the S, Winner and Loser's past. But definitely the Winner Clock arc is the only real arc that takes place on the S. I like Clock being the one to join Winner and not Cake and Eggy, because I feel like Eggy and Cake both went through a lot of, in, the love episode, I am strong connected to Loser. No, I'm strong connected to Loser. But then they've kind of learned a bit. I don't know. But Clock was dead for, 8 episodes or something. So, with Clock being dead, he didn't get to learn with all that new doing stuff without Loser. So he didn't really get a chance to change himself. So this is why I like Clock joining Winner because of Loser, because Clock was the least out of the 3 of them that we knew. Cloudy brings Rocky and Yellowface, probably because him and Rocky were on a team together last in BFB. And Yellowface is just also silly. All 3 of them are really silly characters, especially with Rocky and Yellowface being joke characters. And Cloudy talks to Winner thinking Winner's a cloud. And Winner's not a cloud, but they still join together because we need to get teams together. Bottle sees that they're going to be silly and does a blocky where she leaves Death Pack to go be on silly team. Because this team is very silly. Also, Icy joins because of that truce from the first episode of BFB with Clock. I don't know, they really didn't know what to put Ice Cube on, so they said, let's put Ice Cube on the silly team. So, after that, the S doesn't do much in the episode. Winner throws the contestants on the top of the building and Bottle breaks, but it still counts for some reason. I guess dead bodies just count as humans now. Ice Cube lands on Yellowface though to save him. And Rocky gets overshot and buffs. I don't know. This episode they didn't do much. It just showed off how strong Winner is as a character because Winner's a newbie and we have no idea what her personality or her anything is like. In episode 2, the S definitely is not as big as other teams in that episode. As a lot of them, did a lot of stuff. But there's a whole thing where Death Pack tries to steal Rocky and they try to stop him. Basically, Clock will not stop talking to Winner because he's obsessed with Winner's past with Loser. And it's pretty obvious that Winner does not want to have anything to do with Loser again. Eventually, they do win because Rocky's barf blocks stack them up a tower. Like I said, the S doesn't use a main role in this episode. It's hard to really say, did they have a main role in any episode? It's really hard to say. They're a weird team. Episode 3 happens, and they build a stage for the thing. The challenge. This is during Teapot Dark Ages, so, all the teams kind of sucked. But they just built a stage. Bottle confronts Clock about Winner Clock arc. I find that weird, because, Bottle is silly, not serious, talking about a serious arc. Likewise, Clock loses them to challenge, trying to convince Winner to do the show instead of Yellowface. And they lose the challenge. Which, kind of sucks. Yellowface is the first one safe on the team. I think this makes sense. Yellowface was probably the most popular character on this team at the time. He was really funny in the past couple Teapot episodes, and other than Winner, he's kind of been taking like a lead role in on the S. Next safe is Winner, which also makes sense. Winner has been an amazing contestant throughout the 3 episode debut, and people don't want the debuter to get out immediately. Rocky's safe third, which I think also makes sense. Rocky being Rocky. You're silly, Rocky. People love Rocky. But then Clock is next safe. The reason I think people maybe voted Clock is because, I don't know, they want to see the Winner Clock arc continue, which makes sense. But it just feels like a lot of people would not want to vote Clock because Clock lost them the challenge. Anyways, Bottle's safe next, getting less vote than 1,000 less votes than Clock, which I find insane. Because Bottle is a lot more popular of a character than Clock. Maybe it's because he had a weird episode, but that's why. The bottom two is Ice Cube and Cloudy. Ice Cube, yeah, of course. Cloudy. Bottom two, Cloudy. Cloudy was second safe on Beep consistently. Bang, 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 bang. Second safe. And now he is bottom two, first elimination he's up for. Wow. Well, most people thought Ice Cube was going to get out. So Cloudy got out! What? So now that Cloudy's out, here, Cloudy had an amazing episode in episode 2, but it just feels weird that he's not there. Sure, maybe it's because that Ballooney's not here, so people didn't want to vote for him. But Cloudy's still a loved character. I just found that shocking. Anyways, in episode 4, after Cloudy gets eliminated, their funny plant is in space? How'd the funny plant get in space? Anyways, the funny plant was killed because of refracted light from a gamma ray due to Rocky's vomit acting as a lens. They don't lose the challenge, but they don't do anything. They just kind of space out from the other groups. Get it? Space out, space. Also, why in some episodes can they breathe in space, and some episodes they can't breathe in space? Also no Winner Clock arc, which you would think, after what happened last episode, some people would want to confront Clock. Maybe even Winner. Maybe Winner wouldn't want to talk to Clock. Yet, they still talk to Clock. Episode 5 comes around, and with no Winner Clock arc episode, last episode, people are expecting big things from this episode. What do you mean nothing happened with Winner Clock again? They tried to take out the ocean with Bottle, and then they dig underground and they die. And then they dig underground and they die. And then anyways. So eventually they freeze the canal by killing Ice Cube 50 million times. But, it works. They're the first safe. And, once again, no Winner Clock. they kind of take a step back here. This is probably the biggest role they've had in an episode, which is saying much because they haven't done much this episode. It's just insane. In episode 6, they use Yellowface's ad powers to make cereal. This is some fun Yellowface lore. I like this because, Yellowface lore on characters is fun. But, they kind of just feel like their loss is, like, rushed. Like, who was expecting the Rocky to just bomb it? And it's just like, oh, they lost that anyways. Like, they didn't do anything to lose. It's just, like, random Rocky vomit. Anyways, they're up for elimination, and Yellowface is the first one saved. That makes complete... Also, no winner clock last episode! Anyways, Yellowface is the first one saved, with a lot less votes than last time, but that's probably because they were up against Death Pack. Yellowface first one safe. Everyone was expecting that. I'm pretty sure Rocky would get out here after he made his team lose. So, what do you mean Rocky is the second one safe? He makes his team lose with no context at all, and he's the second one safe? This is weird to me. It's probably because the voters of Winner and Clock and Bottle and Ice Cube all went to Death Pact. Because fans of especially Winner, Ice Cube, and Clock were going to go want to save people from Death Pact more than those people. It's kind of another reason why I'm surprised Ice Cube is this high. Maybe people were like, oh shoot, Ice Cube is gonna get eliminated because he was in the bottom 2 last episode. We gotta save her. So they voted for Ice Cube a bunch. And then Winner being the next save, a lot less votes than last time. And going down from 2nd to 4th is not a good sign for Winner. But it might just be because, Winner didn't do much. Winner hasn't been doing much. Bottom 2 is Bottle and Clock. And with 2 votes. Clock gets 2,000 votes. Bottle gets 3,000 votes. They don't even show that Clock and Bottle are the bottom 2. They're just oh yeah, Clock, you out. Maybe if they would have shown more Winner Clock arc, which they did in 3 episodes, Clock gets out because he has nothing to do. But to favoritism because it's episode 7 and they're like, oh shoot, people are mad at us. Let's finish Winner Clock on. Go work at the kitchen. Episode 7, we get more Yellowface lore because we can go inside his ads to find a bunch of stuff. We go into his ad and we find the moon repair kit. But Yellowface grabs the scribble thing and makes his team lose. Again. Man. Once again. Another stupid excuse to make this team lose. It's this team is now going to be down to 4 members in episode 7. Up for elimination 3 times is kind of crazy. Given squishy cherries. Anyways, Winner being the first one safe makes sense. Yellowface isn't the first one safe because, he made his team lose. But him still being the second one safe makes complete sense, Yellowface is still probably the most popular character on the team other than, Winner, who was first safe. Bottle's next save, which I think makes sense after people seeing her in the bottom 2 last episode made us go, oh no, we need to save Bottle. But then they forgot to save Ice Cube. So Ice Cube's in the bottom 2 with Rocky. Rocky finally gets out after, that mess. But with only 15 less votes than last time, basically everyone who voted for Rocky last episode voted for him again. And this wasn't enough to beat Ice Cube because, no one wanted to vote for just not. So Rocky's out, which no one cares. Episode 8 happens, and on the balance beam, Yellowface steals limbs. So last episode, he fed Ice Cube a gumball as like a gag to remove her legs, and people were just like, ah ha ha, funny, funny little thing. Ice Cube doesn't have legs for an episode, and then we find out she doesn't have limbs for the rest of the next episodes. Yellowface took her limbs. He also takes Donut's arms. So Yellowface now has arms and legs. Donut doesn't have arms, and Ice Cube doesn't have legs. Yellowface just sabotages his own team by stealing Ice Cube's legs. He sabotages his team again by gluing Bottle to the floor so Bottle dies, and throwing Ice Cube at Belle so she dies. But then Yellowface clutches for his team somehow. I don't really know how, but Yellowface is the last one surviving and wins for his team. So people want him? Who knows? Also, Clock tries to talk with Winner, but Winner talks to Two and is like, "Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to Clock." And Two's really sad. In the next episode, the S has a pretty big role. The S being one of the teams not inside the hotel or any place. They're one of the 3 teams outside in the open. They hide in Cloudy's stash, which is a fun reference to Cloudy. Rest in peace, Cloudy. But then Black Hole steals those stash to save trees. So they're just out in the open throwing some stakes at the zombies, which, is a pretty nice little funny thing. They sacrifice Ice Cube because, he can go fast because he doesn't have limbs now. And then Yellowface saves the BFDI universe. Think about it, okay? If Yellowface didn't, for some reason, drink the vomit, feed the vomit to Seashell Guy, and then get the idea of put it in the stakes and feed them the stakes, the whole BFDI universe would be zombies. Yellowface saved the BFDI universe. That's insane to think about. They're safe. Next episode, they go into Winner's Dream. And, Yellowface, Ice Cube, and, Bottle, I forgot Bottle's name, go into the dream. Forrest, we should take Clock in that dream. Because he heard Clock through Winner's Dream? Who knows what's up with 4? Anyways, Four put Clock in Winner's Dream. And so he gets to confront Winner. And Clock and Winner have the final confront. And finally finishes that arc. Which, is kind of the reason that Clock got eliminated, because people forgot about that. Looking back at this, it wasn't a big arc. It was a nice way to introduce Winner and introduce her about Loser. It was a nice way to expand upon Clock's character, who, was dead for 5 episodes. But so, and this is the last episode until Cloud Death Pact yet again, Team 2, and become teams. This team's gone forever. Looking back at it, no one on this team had big events happen to them. The Winner Clock arc is what they tried to have. Should they have something big? But after all, they just acted as the comic relief team. And with only 4 contestants going into the merge, it was obvious that Ice Cube and Bottle were not going to make it that far. Yellowface was probably going to make it pretty far, and Winner would probably make it to the merge. Looking at the teams, looking at these first 10 episodes, it makes sense that it was probably going to be the first team wiped out. Maybe Just Not would get out before it, because Pillow might have gotten farther, though. Who knew? Looking at the split, Ice Cube was taking to Team 2, Bottle was taking to do, and Winner and Yellowface were taking to Cloudier. Let's look at the runs now. Let's look at Icy's runs first. Icy was kind of there on Team 2. She had some stuff with Book, survived against Eraser, but then she got up on episode 16 early. She made up with Book and then kind of just got eliminated. Ice Cube didn't have much to do on Team 2, since it was pretty obvious the two groups were Snowball and Grassy and Book and Price Tag, which is why Eraser and Ice Cube got out first on that team, because they weren't part of the two groups. They were just there. It was sad to see Ice Cube go, but it made a lot of sense in episode 16. Yellowface is a lot more interesting, though. He was the only member on Cloudier that believed in golf ball when no one else would listen, which gave him an interesting dynamic. It was weird seeing him react with golf ball. Like, kind of reminded me of BFDIA a bit, but as the only one that listened to golf ball, it made him more popular of a character with golf ball fans, because golf ball fans said, ooh, a golf ball inspector. From the looks of it on Cloudier, he would probably survive over Donut, and then probably also Pillow. And after Pencil joined, he kind of just rage baited Pencil a lot. He also got a lot closer with Winner, and he became friends with Price Tag. For a while, it started to feel like maybe Yellowface could become something other than a joke character. Maybe he could break the non-object curse. Video on that one day soon. But in episode 16, 2 contestants on Cloudier would be eliminated. And Donut had a really good episode. Yeah, Yellowface was screwed. This was sad for me to see Yellowface go. It was like he finally got something to do, and he finally had, like, friends. And he just had to leave because the writers kind of screwed him over, not gonna lie. Seeing him make all of these friends after all that's happened to him and the other non-objects, it was just insane to me. Okay, Bottle is insane. Bottle survived longer than Yellowface, which was something that I don't think anyone expected to do. Bottle was a member of Do, and she did a little bit, but she more just acted as comic relief in most of the episodes. She became good friends with Pen and Lai, though, which is fun. But, like, she was kind of just there in their friendship, as Pen and Lai mostly took up all the screen time of that team for a while. So, that happened. But Bottle, it was just Bottle. She probably wouldn't survive over, like, TV, or, like, even surprised that she survived over Needle. But after that, she had amazing episode where she becomes the host of the show for an episode. She became the host of the show. This obviously made her safe in her next elimination. But after she was up for elimination again in episode 16 against Tennis Ball and Pen, 2 of the biggest fan favorites of all time, and Lai, who just killed a bunch of people and had an amazing episode. Yeah, there was nothing she could do. She had an amazing run. In respect to Bottle, 100%. It's just was weird to see her go, but it's kind of like everyone expected it to be sooner. And Winner on Cloudier kind of felt like a mix between goofy, silly with Yellowface and Pillow, and then serious with Golf Ball and Donut. She had a good amount of do on Cloudier. So she wasn't part of the big golf ball, donut, and pencil thing. But, you know, that didn't mean she didn't have to be safe. Like, Winner was still a very popular character. And most people expected, yeah, Winner's making it to the merge. In episode 23, while waiting for the voting results, everyone expected Book to get out. She was gonna win BFDIA, and she did. And everyone else thought Marco would also get out because he had been doing amazing with votes. Like, he did pretty good, but he hasn't been doing as good as any of the other contestants. As the votes got counted down, Marco was the second safe. Looking back at this is because all the Death Pact voters all went to vote Marco. Because there was no other Death Pactors up for elimination. So that was kind of sad. And then we find out that Lai was eliminated. And then also, Winner. Winner was the biggest surprise to people. And it made a lot of people really sad since people loved Winner. It was definitely sad to see Winner go. But looking back at it, it kind of made sense. Seeing Winner go, like, she didn't do much in the past couple episodes. And after she found Loser, it kind of felt like her story was completed for Teapot. I really hope we get to see Winner fight again with Loser in season 7. If there is a season 7, who knows at this point. And who knows what could happen. Now, one thing I like to look at the end of these videos, that I will like to look at, is I'd like to look at the BFB, the 14 voting poll, one of the episodes, where everyone voted on their favorite character at the end of BFB. I really like looking at this to see how well they did with characters, seeing how like they were and how unlike they were. And looking at it, let's start elimination order. Cloudy had 343 votes, which is a middle of the range, like very middle character. That meant, yeah, they're gonna need to give Cloudy more stuff to do. He wasn't gonna need too much of a push, but yeah, they're gonna need to give Cloudy more stuff to do. But then they made the worst decision possible. They split up Cloudy and Balloony. And that just ruined both of their characters. They've been trying to make up Cloudy and Balloony, those incidents, ever since. Naming a merge team after Cloudy with Cloudier, and Balloony hosting an episode of BFDIA and being the announcer's sidekick in Teapot 23 and 24 and maybe 25. Or maybe 24, I guess. I haven't seen it. Then we look at Clock. Clock got 158 votes. He was bottom 8 for least favorite characters. So they knew, okay, we gotta do something with Clock. And they did. They did the Winner Clock arc. But then they forgot about it. And that's how Clock got out. The writing switch made people not want to do the Winner Clock arc. So it just went away. More people definitely like Clock now that the arc's over. And his silly little goose with 4 X is really funny. But, yeah. I say what they did with Clock definitely increased him in this poll. Would increase him if this poll was happened today. For Cloudy, though, I'd say stay around the same area. Next up would be Rocky. Rocky was in the top 8. He got 1,069 votes. They didn't need to do with anything with Rocky, okay? Rocky was going to get lots of votes to save. To Rocky, they didn't need to give Rocky an intense story or anything. Next eliminated would be Ice Cube. Right? Yeah, Ice Cube. Ice Cube on the poll was around 741 votes, which is very good. They didn't do anything with Ice Cube. They just had to keep Ice Cube the sand. What? They just kind of ruined Ice Cube. But, like, people still loved Ice Cube, but there was nothing Ice Cube could do. Like, people wanted her to have more revenge. And with her making up with Brooke was good, but just didn't work enough. Yellowface, 529 votes. So, same with Rocky and Ice Cube. They just had to keep Yellowface the same. But instead, they made him better. I'd say Yellowface be even higher on this list now, after what happened with him in Teapot. Yellowface shot up the rankings, and Yellowface was amazing in Teapot. Sure, he did have an evil side with his limb stealing, but other than that, everything just made him more of a likable character. Next, we have Bottle. 319 votes is not that good. They definitely need to do something else with her, but they didn't need to do too much with her. And I say that's what they did. They kept her main character about being silly and goofy, but then also added on to it with giving her a little bit of a serious side in episode 3 and making her the host in episode 17. Bottles just became a really good character. Winner wasn't on this chart, but they did win the popularity poll, but that's hard to say. Like, there was no voice actors or anything. It was just, ooh, winner, I should put winner in because winner and loser, ooh, haha. Well, that's it for the video. This one was a bit of a long one, about like 30 minutes probably. But here we are. Now that the S is gone, Teapot is going to feel a lot more serious in the merge. Definitely feels a lot more serious right now, but, like, once the whole one thing is gone, it's still going to feel a lot more serious with no comic relief characters left. Unless we count Golf Ball. Well, I'm posting videos every Sunday now. And shorts when I want. I don't know. I'm going to make a whole series about eliminated contestants and who should win Teapot. I'll be making a lot. So make sure to stay in touch. Also, I might be making an animation soon, like a full animated series called the BFDI games or something. I don't know, like BFDI Hunger Games. But as we continue, I'll catch you later, pinheads!